Good morning, Joe Madden here. This is the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. It is Wednesday, September 7th. I'm joined this morning by Jason Gold, co-founder of Champions Round. Jason, welcome to the show.
Joe, thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here. So excited that we are only 24 hours away from the NFL season. I'm ready to get going.
Hell yeah, we're so ready for this NFL season to kick off. I got a question to ask you. Is Gold your actual last name?
Gold is actually my last name.
How'd you get so lucky to get that last name? It's golden. Absolutely.
Born into the right family, fortunately. And my wife, we got married 2 years ago, and I finally got her to change the name. She's like, you know what? Her last name was Clark before. She's like, you know what? I finally realized Gold's a little bit better last name, so I'm going to take it. It wasn't because she loved me or anything. She's just like, I like that last name a little bit more.
Absolutely. You have to shop those last names like you shop lines. Most definitely, Jason.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about you a little bit before we get into the NFL. I can't wait to talk about it with you, but how did you get started in this industry?
So coming out of college, I went to the University of Oregon, studied sports marketing there, and I decided that I was going to go work at a fashion company. I had a connection there. I worked at Guess, the clothing company, at their world headquarters in marketing. Did that for 2 years. Hated driving to downtown Los Angeles every day. Hated being in the office like that.
Yeah.
Working a 9 to 5 and whatever. I didn't really like being in the fashion industry anymore. So I decided to take a chance on myself. I really loved sports writing. And I decided to do that. So I took a year off, crafted, my ability to write. I was always a pretty decent writer. And so I got my first job with Sports Illustrated. And then I was working for Fox Sports and Bleacher Report, doing a bunch of writing stuff, covering college football. And then my wife actually introduced me to one of the co-founders of Champions Round about 4 years ago, 3.5, 4 years ago. She's like, I know you love fantasy sports. I know you love gambling. This is probably a good venture for you. And I had a meeting with them, came with a bunch of ideas. Initially, they thought I was going to be an investor in the company. I was not. I was looking for some sort of partnership. And it grew really organically, and super happy that I'm with Chase and Carter, my other co-founders at Champions Round.
Yeah, you guys are doing a great job over there. For anyone that hasn't heard about Champions Round, could you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, absolutely. So Champions Round is all about micro sports, micro fantasy, micro betting, all about these little short moments during the course of a game or a season where you don't want to play season long. You don't want to play these big games that are drawn out, that after week 4 or week 5, you're screwed. You can't play anymore. No, we want immediate success gratification today. So we have a couple of different game modes. We have the Daily Dozen that's available every day. You can play that for $12 or you can play for free. You go 12 for 12, you win $1,200. All you have to do is answer 12 props and click over or under. That's great. I'll use a little plug here. You can use the promo code Daily Dozen. You get a $10 free deposit with us if you download the Champions Round app. Then we have our 7 stakes contest, which is basically just 7 prop questions. Those usually last about a week. And then we have a couple of different fantasy products, but the one that we're debuting actually tonight, good timing here, we have Sunday's Best. So that is going to be a 4-round snake draft for players that are just playing on Sunday. All you have to do is draft 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, and 1 tight end. You can play that contest for free or for money just on Sundays, but you can draft up until 10 a.m. Pacific on Sundays.
Oh, I love that. So if people are looking to enter that, they just go to the App Store and download the app then?
Absolutely. Just go download the Champions Round app. Google Play, App Store. We're on Android and iOS.
And what was your promo code one more time in case people didn't have a pen? Grab your pen, guys.
all caps, one word, Daily Dozen.
Okay. I love it. Keep killing it over there. Let's talk some NFL. We have one more sleep until the Bills and the Rams face off. High hopes for this Thursday night game here, Jason?
I could not be any more excited. SoFi Stadium is about 5 miles down the street. I've been debating back and forth whether to go to the game or not, but the closer that we get, the closer that I think that I'm going to end up getting tickets because I'm just so hyped up and excited to finally get into the NFL season. I feel like this has been the longest offseason ever.
It really has felt like that. It's felt like we have been waiting forever since the Super Bowl, and even since preseason ended this last couple of days, have been just dragging on. I hope you get to that game. If not, do you think you'll maybe do some tailgating there beforehand?
No, I'm not going to go down and beat the LA traffic at 5 o'clock on a Thursday to just go tailgating. No, ma'am. But I may make it for the game.
That traffic in LA is something else. I've driven down there. Not something that I actually like to do. So, but probably worth it to see a game.
Yeah, absolutely to see the game. Not for tailgating. Also, the tailgating at SoFi it's not exactly like going to Buffalo.
Okay.
It's still LA.
I love it. Okay, so in the game tomorrow night, who are you rooting for in this game? We've got the Bills coming in, and it's a 2.5-point favorite. Total gone up to 52.5. Not very much movement on that total, but just slightly.
So in terms of rooting for, I don't know if I'm rooting for either team. What I'm going to be rooting for is my fantasy guys and specifically my bets. I think personally the best way to play this game is to use the Rams as a teaser piece, going through the 3 and the 7, move them up from +2.5 to +8.5. I happen to like the under in this game. I think it'll be low scoring. My prediction for the game is 24-23 Rams. I may sprinkle a little bit on the Rams +2.5 or a money line, but I don't think it's the right way to play it. That 2.5, bringing it up to 8.5 is a perfect teaser piece. So that's kind of my main angle. Yeah, that's kind of all I have on the game right now.
Yeah, I like where you're going with this under. Do you have any concerns about Matt Stafford's elbow? Because that's where I'm looking at the under. I think they're going to have to play more of a solid running game. I have question marks if he's as healthy as they say. I don't think he's going to be airing it out a lot. Any thoughts on that, Jason?
We'll see when the lights turn on. I am mildly concerned. I would not say that I'm overly concerned, especially this early in the season. They've done everything that they could do in training camp to limit the wear and tear on that elbow. So I think that if any game where he's going to feel the best, it's probably going to be week 1. I'm
True.
sure that he's gotten some sort of cortisone shots. Maybe he did the Kobe thing and flew over to the Germany and got a little blood transfusion or something. Who knows? But I assume week 1 he's probably going to feel pretty good. So no, that doesn't really concern me at the beginning of the season.
Okay, which other games are you looking for Sunday's games?
Wow, I got a lot of bets already,
There's
but
so many.
I'll run through the ones that I have on the board already. So I have Baltimore as a teaser piece in a lot of places. That line is now, I believe, off the board. Maybe they put it back on because of the Zach Wilson news, but that is a teaser piece at -1. Cleveland at +8.5 as a teaser piece is interesting. San Francisco -1, Minnesota +8, and the Rams at +8.5. I like all of those pieces combined together as teaser pieces. The total that I love the most, it has gone up, unfortunately, past 48, which is a little bit of a value issue. But I bet Philadelphia, Detroit over 47 points. And I also bet Washington, Detroit week 2 over 45 points. This Detroit team is going to play really fast this year, especially out of the gate. I think the teams are going to have to adjust on the fly. And I think these totals are set a little bit too low. Anybody that's thinking that Aiden Hutchinson is going to clean up all the defensive issues for the Lions is kidding themselves. Yeah. It is still going to be a gigantic liability for them. So I would expect some early season fireworks in the Lions games. The other 2 bets that I already have locked in for the Circa contest, depending on which lines come out later today. But I do love the Jacksonville Jaguars at +3 or higher against the Commanders in Washington. And I love the Miami Dolphins. I bet them at -2.5 and -3 at home against the New England Patriots. If that number's 3.5, I have some concerns, but I do love them if you can get that number at -3 right now.
Yeah, you guys, make sure you go shop your lines. I shop mine at oddstrader.com, and I find there's such great value there. With that Miami-New England game, we have Tua with Tyreek Hill. What are your thoughts on this combo? Do you think Tyreek Hill is going to be able to be the superstar of this team?
I think that he can be the superstar of the Miami Dolphins. He's certainly being paid like it. I do not think that you're going to see the same sort of success, maybe not success, but the same sort of numbers that you saw in Kansas City. As much as people think that, maybe Tua stinks, maybe people will think that Tua is underrated. You could be all over the place with Tua, but he's certainly not Patrick Mahomes. I don't think that anyone would argue that, nor is that system designed to have a wide receiver kind of break out like a Justin Jefferson type. Yeah. I don't think he's going to have that sort of season. What he can be is a little bit how Debo was used last year in San Francisco. I think that's probably fair. The issue for me is I'm actually higher on Jalen Waddle this year than I am on Tyreek Hill, especially given where he's being taken in fantasy drafts. So, yes, I think Tyreek can be really successful. Yes, I think that offense is going to be absolutely amazing. I love Mike McDaniel, but I would I would bet more money this season on Waddle having a bigger year and Tyreek having a little bit of a down year for him.
Okay. I like it. I think that is a good way to take it. These games are so exciting for the upcoming weekend. You talked a little bit about fantasy draft. Have you completed your fantasy draft, and who do you have, if so?
Oh my God. I am in 12 leagues. I finished my last one last night. I actually
Yep.
had two drafts at the same time, one auction, an auction superflex, which was my first time ever doing that. That was interesting. And then also a snake at the same time. I can read
Which
off one
one
of
are
my
you the most
two.
confident in? Which draft went the best for you? Which one are you most confident in? And which defense are you the most confident that you took?
Okay, so defense, I only play week to week. I only stream them. My favorite
Okay.
one for this week is Baltimore against the Jets. I love that one. If I can't get Baltimore in drafts, I've been going for the New Orleans Saints against Atlanta. Unfortunately, I think that my guy Marcus Mariota is going to have a little bit of a struggle in week one. That total is also really low. I think it's like 41 and a half, 42, something like that. So generally like playing defenses in games with such a low total. Guys that I love this year that I've gotten in a lot of drafts. I've been really high on CMC, especially in auction leagues, because I think he's undervalued. Like obviously, there's issues with him being injured. That's why everyone's scared of him.
Yeah.
But he's the biggest cheat code in fantasy when healthy. Is the only guy that's averaging 25, 30 points a game in half PPR when he's healthy. I think he's far superior to Jonathan Taylor in general. Yes, there's issues with the health, but if he's playing and on the field, I think he's an absolute rock star, superstar. Can't miss him. And then I'm a big guy on getting tight ends. So I basically want to leave every single draft with either Kelsey, Andrews, or I think
Yeah.
Pitts this year is going to be massive.
Okay. Favorite quarterback that you got?
I've been really big on Trey Lance. I have him in almost every league. I love that offense. I love his potential on the ground. If I haven't been getting Lance, it's probably because I've been going early on Jalen Hurts. That's probably
Well,
it. My favorite guy is Herbert, but he's getting drafted too high, so I can't get him.
he definitely is my favorite too. I am a Chargers fan, if you couldn't tell from the color scheme here. Trey Lance and Hurts, two quarterbacks that have kind of had question marks around them. Lots of lovers or haters for both of these quarterbacks. Not a solid opinion on these two. What do you like about both of these guys?
Rushing floor. That's all I care about with my fantasy quarterback in general. Love having that rushing floor. They're on really good teams. I like both of their play callers. I like the weapons around both of them. I think the upside is massive. You could easily see both of them finish in the top 3 for QBs this season. So, rushing floor, I know that they're going to rush for, 500 yards and 5 touchdowns. That already puts me at like a RB2 and a half kind of range. And then I get quarterback on top of it. So I just think it's the easiest way to get a quarterback in fantasy is just to get a guy with rushing upside.
Definitely a great way to take your fantasy team, Jason. I wish you all the best in your fantasy as well as your bets for this season. If people are looking to reach you or Champions Round, where can they find you guys on social media?
Yeah, so you can follow us across the board at Champions Round, IG. We have TikTok, our Facebook, and our Twitter. And then you can find me at JasonGold24 on Twitter, and then at Gambling with Gold on Instagram. You can also follow our show, Gambling with Gold, on YouTube. You can find our YouTube is at Champions Round. And then on Spotify, just search at Gambling with Gold for all of our NFL weekly gambling previews.
Again, you guys make sure you go give Jason Gold a follow. You don't want to miss out on all of the content he has, as well as Champions Round. Jason, thank you so much for joining me here on the Joe Madden Sports Podcast. It was an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You too.